So what I want to do is say, I mean, if we had Elon Musk online today, and I was asking him, hey, Elon, how was your week? I mean, like, give it a rating. What do you think his rating would be this week?
I think it definitely would have been like a solid 8.
You reckon?
Yeah, for sure.
When you wake
I
up to the
mean, he
news
did it.
that you are no longer the second richest person in the world, you are now the third richest person in the world. Do you think you would? Do you think it
I
would be an
think
8?
personally, I
I think
think he doesn't rate himself out of 10 because he
First
thinks
of all,
beyond the boundaries. Yeah.
yeah. What is he like? A 0
Secondly,
and 1. So like he's either happy or he's not happy. Is he binary?
it could be binary or a subset that it's an Elon Musk new scale.
Yeah.
But
So you know why?
Just-
So you know why
I'm just
he's
wondering,
dropped down
do
to.
these guys actually rate themselves like that? Do they even watch the tables that they're on, the world's rich lists and all the other things? Do they even bother with that? Do they have time?
Well, what you saying? Are you saying that when you wake up in the morning and you've in one day your wealth has dropped by 2.6 billion? 2.6 billion. Is that? How would you feel?
Well, if you've got,
Do you think that's a number you would be tracking?
No, 1,000 billion, over 1,000 billion, so a trillion worth. If you lose 2 billion,
I don't
you
know.
probably gain 4 billion the next day. It's
Yeah,
I don't think he
possibly.
watches that kind of stuff.
yeah, I
He
think
checks goes onto his cell phone app and checks his bank balance and goes,
Yeah.
I better do something here. Or, oh, look at the interest.
But I suppose if you, I mean, does he look at the reason? Okay, he might not be worried about the number, but he might be like saying, okay, something happened today. The Tesla stock dropped by whatever, which amounts to me losing 2.6 million of my wealth. Surely he must be looking at that indicator and saying, okay, well, why is Tesla's share price dropped? You should be concerned about that at least.
Yeah.
Surely?
No, I'm pretty sure that like he actually worries about like how his company's doing, but maybe not in the financial terms, like as much as like actual terms. Like can we actually deliver what we promised to deliver in terms of value, features? Because I mean the reason why Tesla is basically the biggest car brand in the world as far as I remember on this stage is because they deliver great products, the clients are happy with them, and the clients will definitely come back to buy another Tesla. So it's not just a once-off business that he's got. Plus, like, I think his Starlink venture, that's going to explode. I mean, once they fully commercialize it and roll it out, I mean, it has serious implications, even like in my environment in terms of what we do, of being able to get a reliable internet connection, like in the remote parts of Southern Africa. I mean, that's amazing. That's a game changer. And
Yeah.
for like 1,000, for like 1,000 rand, right? Okay, let's just call it 2,000 rand. I mean, commercial satellite services that provide data uploads and downloads. I mean, they're more expensive by a factor of 100.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to change the whole game because I think more than 50% of the global population actually lives outside of the big metros.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm wondering what's going to make more money, like long term, whether it's actual Starlink or whether it's Tesla. I would put my money on Starlink because if you can get 100 mil subscribers, right, at $100 a month, right, excluding like subscription costs and stuff like that,
Yeah.
looking at billions of revenue on tap.
Yeah. But don't you think, I mean, when you're talking about Tesla and, okay, I mean, Tesla is selling electric cars, but
Yeah.
the reality is a battery manufacturing company that happens to then package them as a car. You understand what I'm saying? Is that they were saying that
Yeah.
the Tesla is the test bed for developing battery technology, which is owned by Tesla, the factories that make those batteries. So I think if you were to ask me, I would say, okay, the Starlink thing is more of a service that he's providing to humanity, because he's come up with a way to be able to give people in remote areas access to the internet, which other companies haven't been able to do yet, right? On the scale that he's going to be able to do it. And how is he able to do that? Well, he's got the equipment to send the payload up. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't see the Starlink thing as the money spinner, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I think the battery technology is the thing that's going to be.
I think it's about the batteries, but I think it's not just financial targets anymore. There's other business targets, right?
Yeah.
They want to be the technology leader of XYZ. They want to be the primary force in the new space world. I think they've got other ambitions. I think they've achieved the money thing. It's a means to an end now. They need to sustain that to finance the rest of their ambitions.
Exactly.
My personal feel, and that might be my personal feel, is that it's Starlink is far more commercially profitable, especially like in long term or like medium to long term, than people think. I mean, once you put that infrastructure in space, there's very little like upfront maintenance costs involved, and it's just money on tap.
No, fair enough. I agree. I agree with that. But I think in terms of, I think it's a long payback period, because there's the upfront costs to get the stuff up there. Once you've got it up there, okay, sure, fair enough. But the payoff period must be fairly long, because how many satellites is he having to put up into space? How many times does he have to send up one of his rockets to get those payloads into space? I think the initial cost is very, very large, and if he wants to give accessibility to the masses, he can't be coming in at a massive cost, right? For the service. So it must have a long payback period. Return on investment period.
I agreed. Even with all the economies of scale that he's going to realize, it's still.
I think long term, I think it's definitely a solid. It's like the mule, it'll just keep on chugging along, and the money's going to keep on coming in, and the technology won't really have to be upgraded too much. And ding, 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 ding. Eventually, it breaks even, and then after that, it's just money for jam kind of thing. But I think to get to that crossover point must take a fairly long time. I don't know.
6 months.
Maybe, hey?
No,
like 6 months. Well, then he's wasting his... hey? Well,
like 6 months.
So what are we saying? That Elon Musk is not going to be number one in the world's rich list this time next year? He's going to be
I don't know. Oh, let's make a prediction. Today is
Let's make a prediction.
6th of February. March.
So March next year, when they do the next rich list.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's do a check-in in 6 months' time. And then we do another check-in. I'll put it in my calendar. We'll do another check-in
So they do these lists once a year, and I don't know how they get the stats, because not all money is or values are available. So these are just speculative on what information they have.
Yeah.
But there's a few that do the rich lists.
Yeah.
So the Horan report, isn't that linked more with the Chinese? But anyway, we can maybe check a different list in 6 months' time.
Yeah.
See where we are.
Yeah. Well, you know what I find most interesting about this rich list thing is that in the past year, it's brought on the biggest wealth increase in the past decade, which is almost like counterintuitive under the current situation or the last year that we've had, where it's COVID, there's been lockdowns, the economy's been put under pressure, people have lost their jobs, they've been put on furlough, they've had to have salary cuts and all that kind of stuff. But yet,
the rich get richer.
The rich get richer. I mean, I was looking at that list, and they were saying that I mean, just China itself has 259 new billionaires, right? You know, like, how did that happen? I mean, have they got shares?
What do you mean?
I
How
think it
did that
depends
happen?
on the industry
well, I
that
mean-
they're in, right? So
Well, I
in,
mean-
in lockdown situation around the world,
Yeah.
so the tourism industry is probably taking a dive.
Yes.
But then all those who sell their products online, where people are sitting at home bored and looking for stuff, you know, they're going to have a surge bigger than they would normally have.
Guys. Telecoms.
Telecoms.
No, I think. Well, I know for sure. One of the guys that's new billionaire, whatever. He's got investments in vaccine companies.
Well, that's you know, like, that's called riding the wave, man.
Yeah, no,
Riding the
fair
wave.
enough. Yeah,
It's like yeah, you can ride the wave, but the wave is eventually gonna come to an end, and it's gonna flatten out. So the question is whether, you know, that's the really cool thing about like relative free market economy, is that it's like the billionaire today might not be the billionaire next year. I mean, I'm sure it's still gonna be fine, you know, with a few $100 million set aside, you know, just as a backup. But like,
this is 100
you know,
mil. I think they got
things
more than
change.
that.
Things change. You know, it's like,
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's, in comparison to, like, if you look at China for the last 3 years, they've added 490 billionaires. America's only added 60, right?
yeah.
So, like, what's
China's
happening in
growing very quickly.
Exactly,
China's
yeah.
growing very quickly. I mean,
Well, is it
like,
because it was 10 years ago? Is it still growing quickly?
yeah, 5%, 5 to 6%. That's how much the economy expanded this year alone, right? And that's COVID, taking into account COVID. You know, that's how much the economy expanded. So can you imagine, like, if the world was doing business as normal, how much they would have grown? Most likely, you would have seen like a double-digit growth. You know, 10, 12, 11% growth coming from China. And I mean, I would say in 5 years' time, China will overtake US as a leading global economy.
Probably.
Which has been predicted for a while. They did slow down dramatically a few years ago. But if they're still growing, just not at the same massive rate, then it's stabilizing and it's consistent growth, and that's what will push them into number one slot.
But they were double digits a couple of years ago, weren't they? In their annual economy expansion. I think it was double digits not so long ago. Anyway, I mean, it's interesting. Obviously.
Why is Bill Gates still in the top 5?
I don't know.
It's got Microsoft. It's got Microsoft, guys. Come on. It's like,
Yeah,
what
but
are
he's
we
walked
doing?
away.
How much
But I
does he
mean,
still own of Microsoft, and considering how much he gives away to charity every year, it's
Yes.
a ton of money.
yeah.
He's got his own foundation that he pours money into.
But I
he
mean, think
still
about this.
manages
Think
to
about
sustain
this.
the top 10 slot.
Yeah, but think about this, okay? When you donate money, it's a tax write-off, right? In the sense that you can, like, you might donate X amount. You're going to get X amount back. I'm sure there's a threshold, a cap on that. But I mean, I'm sure there must be a tax incentive for
Sure.
donating money.
Then I come back to the same thing, right? If you've got that much money, when money's not a problem anymore, do you even care about making sure you get maximum value from your tax?
Dude, I don't know.
I suppose he's got people for that who just take care of it in the background.
Yeah, well, you hope they're doing it well for you, because there's, I suppose there would be nothing worse to find out that your accountant's A, been embezzling money, and B, that the money that he was embezzling was the money that he was supposed to be paying to the taxman on your behalf. Because not only have you lost your money, but you still need to pay the money back to the taxman. I mean, that has happened too many times.
Appear in the top 1,000 richest in the world are there for a very short period of time, while their greedy staff undermine them.
Now all of a sudden the accountant is in the top 10 and they're not in the top 10 anymore. Oh shit! I wish I had that problem. Oh shit!
Yeah,
anyway, but I see just on a South African note, I see that that South Africa's got 5 known billionaires, and I see old Nicky Oppenheimer still the richest man in South Africa. But I mean, talking about having your wealth wiped out. Or Christo Visa, who was, he had a lot of his money invested in Steinhoff. I don't know if you guys heard about the whole Steinhoff scandal in the UK. But basically what it was that I think they were operating in Germany. And Germany is quite pedantic about accounting and all that kind of stuff. And they picked up that they were, that they were cooking the books. And they started a forensic audit. And all of a sudden the share price tanked. Basically lost 90% of its value. So Christo Visa, he dropped off the list, just like that.
I mean,
overnight.
It's not poor.
No.
But yes,
no.
I mean that's a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah. Anyway.
But
I'm starting to get depressed now.
Who's the emerging rich people in South Africa and why?
I don't know. I'd have
the
to
Oppenheimer thing
research
has been
that.
around for a long time.
Yeah.
But
So maybe I can ask.
It's like all the Chinese; they're emerging for a reason.
Yes.
There must be emerging ones in South Africa.
No, absolutely. And I wonder if they.
While our producer does a quick search, have you noticed that the rich list does not include any royalty?
I do.
Yeah,
I did notice that. Yes. Can you explain that, Lester? Have you got some inside information?
Okay, I'll look at the UK monarchy.
Yeah.
And there's always a focus. They estimate wealth there, but there is no official, because it's not audited the same as any other company or person might be.
Mm.
Nobody actually knows the values there. They have been given expensive gifts for hundreds of years that are just sitting in the storeroom in the basement.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what's there and what the value of those things are, let alone all the properties that they have.
Well, Lester, there might come a time where you might need to list your royalty on FTSE.
Yeah, because didn't you say you were a lord somewhere?
I have 2 lord titles now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I have lands in Scotland. Scotland.
And you can fit what? I mean, can you at least stand on both pieces of land at the same time?
No,
or are your feet too big?
My shoes may be too big. My foot covers the whole one land.
Would you be classified as trespassing if you went to one of your pieces of
on other lords' manors? To get to mine.
What's the?
But on a more serious note, Lester, can I ask you, did you actually go to check out your land?
Yeah.
Do you have a peg? Do you have
a
peg there? Do you have
I've got
a peg
all the
there?
coordinates, and I think the next time I'm in Scotland, I'm going to go and visit it.
I can see him
the sheep are grazing.
It's like every couple of months he goes onto Google Earth, when they update their imagery, and he goes there and he goes, "Oh shit, there's some dude on my fucking land."
Call the cops.
Call the cops. Shit. Anyway,
trespassers will be ignited.
So just going back to the money thing, I got a note from being on the rich list or not being on the rich list. Producer Bex was saying that Doe Steyn is listed as having a net worth of 16.7 billion rand, which should put him on the Forbes billionaires list. However, since his fortune is not held in publicly listed companies, he's not eligible to be on that list. Because, you were talking, Leslie, earlier on about, there's some speculation in the people's, net worth and all that kind of stuff. Because, the best place that they can get the information is from the listed companies' annual reports, because they've got to report what the directors' earnings were and what the shares they hold and, the shares that they've traded in the year.
Available information.
Yeah, and the CEO, his whole package is transparent, what benefits he's getting. Audited. Yeah. Anyway, so that's an interesting note on the South African billionaire list.
What's his industry?
Insurance. So auto and general insurance. Is I would imagine is how he made his money. So short-term insurance, but he's also built a housing estate It's called Stain City. Is in Fourways.
That's such a wrong word.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a stain on the city.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.